What is at stake is a big idea, a new world order.
Hello there, I'm coming to you at the freezing ass cold time of 10:30 in the morning because I wanted to discuss something which I don't think is talked enough about or at all on the internet. I did a couple searches about it. It's called A Clean Break, a New Strategy for Securing the Realm. It was a paper or policy document prepared in 1996 by the usual neocon Zionist suspects, a study group led by Richard Perle, the infamous American neocon, prepared for Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. So you guys wonder why I hate on Israel so much. It's because Israel is undermining our national sovereignty and sending out troops to die. So I'm just going to go through the report, how that it has implications for things which are going on today. In fact, actually, from the point of 9/11 through to the first, through the second Gulf War, into Afghanistan and all the posturing against Iran and then Libya and Egypt, none of this stuff made any sense to me, really. I mean, I understood loosely, oil, and Gaddafi wanted to put Arabs on the dinar, and Saddam wanted to stop selling petrodollars, which means basically stop selling his money in his oil in U.S. dollars, which would have greatly affected the status of the U.S. as U.S. status as a world reserve currency, which would reduce our global hegemony. So, and interestingly enough, the report says right here that the removal of Saddam Hussein from power in Iraq is one of the primary goals, and the containment of Syria by engaging in proxy warfare and highlighting their possession of weapons of mass destruction. People, this was written in 1996. They plan for the long term, right? This stuff goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. 20 years before anything even really happens, you know what I mean? Before anything happens at all, it's already been planned and prepared. So I want to talk a little bit about this paper, A Clean Break, a New Strategy for Securing the Realm. Here we go. So, in summation here, the contents of the report are organized into 6 sections. And it's basically the idea that Israel has the ability to exert regional hegemony if it were to, basically to improve the position of Israel as a world power, especially in a time when oil is going to be an incredibly important resource, and whoever controls that region, both in modern times and historically, has been the type of person to control the world. Way back throughout history, every empire, from the Mughals to the Abbasids to the Persians and the Mongols, it's not just for oil. It's a very strategic trading center. All the trade from the east and the west flows through that area. That's why the British were so keen on protecting the Suez Canal during the World War I. The Ottomans wanted to take out the canal, and the British were like, "Oh shit," and promptly put an end to that. And then they worked to divide up. They worked with the Zionists to divide up the former Ottoman Empire, and this plan basically is the end result of their taking apart the Ottoman Empire, dismantling it, and asserting Western-backed and overtly Western countries like Europeans like Israel that are backed by the usual suspects, of course, Zionism and I don't want to say world Jewry because it's a worn out phrase, but let's just say the international financiers. If you don't know, in America, 400 people control the wealth of half the country, and of those 400 people, 50% of them are Jewish. That is in proportion to a total Jewish percentage of 2% in America. So obviously, this plan, a clean break, which has been defining American foreign policy for the last 2 decades, is extremely important to every American citizen. And even more so is that we've been lied to about it continuously again and again and again. So, in order to assert their regional hegemony, the idea is, one, rather than pursuing a comprehensive peace with the entire Arab world, which is what the world is asking for. They're asking for Israel to go to peace with the world and with the Arab world, and they make a bunch of overt gestures, they have conferences here and there, but nothing ever gets done. Now, why is that? Because that's not their goal. They don't want peace with the Arab world, as they have clearly stated in this clean break strategy thingamabob. Where's my shit? Sorry, I misplaced my classy primetime cigar. Anyway, so the introduction specifically proposes 3 new policies. Rather than pursuing a comprehensive peace with the Arab world, like I said, which is what the world is calling for, Israel rather should work jointly with Jordan and Turkey. The hell does Israel have to do with Jordan and Turkey? Other than Turkey is largely, there are rumors that the founding father of Turkey, Kemal Ataturk, was himself a Donme Jew, which were followers of this messianic Jew in the 1600s called Sabbatai Zvi, who a lot of Jews thought was the Messiah in like the 17th century, and he was forced by the Ottoman Caliph to convert to Islam. And a lot of his followers then converted to Islam, seeing it some kind of Kabbalistic mystical significance, and they stayed in Turkey. And I've seen a lot of articles and things and research and reports that say that actually Mustafa Kemal was a Donme Jew. And what did he promote in Turkey? He promoted secularism. He destroyed Islam in Turkey. But anyway, that's beside the point. And Jordan, of course, is just British proxy. So Israel should work jointly with Jordan and Turkey to contain, destabilize, and roll back those entities that are threats to all 3. Now, who is a threat to both Jordan, Israel, and Turkey? Well, as they mentioned here, Syria, of course, is a natural enemy to all these 3. Iran is an enemy. Iraq, of course, is a big enemy. Hezbollah is an enemy. Basically, all of these powers which you've been seeing on Fox News being decried as criminals and all this kind of thing, they are the enemies of this this seizure, this attempt, this blitzkrieg, if I can use a term, to go in there, divide up the Arabs, and take control of the Ottoman Empire for themselves, not only for the oil money, but for the purpose of creating a hegemonic power in the region, which is nationalist, religious, and somehow secular at the same time, which is not really a recipe for success. And I don't know how they're really gonna, how Israel is really going to reconcile the Orthodox Jews, which make up half of their population, who don't even believe in the existence of the state of Israel, with the secular Jews, and that should be very, very interesting to watch in the coming times. Anyway, the next one has to do with changing the nature of relations with Palestinians, and that probably involves the working with Jordan, because a lot of Palestinians went to Jordan after the wars in which they were ethnically cleansed from Palestine. So they reserve the right of hot pursuit anywhere within Palestinian territory, quote unquote, as if they even acknowledge such a thing. And changing relations with the United States, and that's a bunch of bullshit. Self-reliance, my ass. United States would, Israel would have nuked the whole of the Middle East in '73, and if they didn't blackmail the United States into providing them arms and other things like this. Okay, so we have this new approach to peace, they call it. Of course, it's another word for regional hegemony in the region. So we have here, securing the northern border. Syria challenges Israel on Lebanese soil, and we saw that in the Lebanese wars, and with the CIA in Lebanon in the 1980s. Why was the CIA in Lebanon in the 1980s? For Israel, of course. The one in which American can sympathize would be if Israel seized the strategic initiative along its northern borders by engaging Hezbollah, Syria, and Iran as the principal agents of aggression in Lebanon, including by striking Syria's drug money and counterfeiting infrastructure in Lebanon, all of which focuses on Razi Khanan. Paralleling Syria's behavior by establishing the precedent that Syria territory is not immune to attacks emanating from Lebanon by Israeli proxy sources, blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. What else we got in this document? Israel can shape its strategic environment in cooperation with Turkey and Jordan. So, by the way, you guys don't know, Israel and Turkey are pretty much allies, you know what I mean? Turkey is a part of NATO, so it's joined in defense pacts with Europe. So it's not by any means a part of the Muslim world in any normal sense. So Israel can shape its strategic environment in cooperation with Turkey and Jordan by weakening, containing, even rolling back Syria. This effect can focus on the removal of Saddam Hussein from power in Iraq. So here they are calling for the removal of Saddam Hussein in Iraq in 1996, and not for weapons of mass destruction, no, but as it says right here, as a means of foiling Syria's regional ambitions. And of course, they don't say it, but for extending the influence of the power of Israel. The two lines in the Israeli flag, the two blue lines, indicate that Israel believes that its borders extend from Iraq to Egypt. Its borders extend from the Euphrates River to the Nile River in Egypt. So this is just talking about some bullshit about playing politics in Iraq by supporting the Hashemites who rule in Jordan to take control of Iraq, which is a possibility in the future, I guess, if they can deal with ISIS. So in conclusion, Israel's new agenda can signal a clear break by abandoning a policy which assumed exhaustion and allowed strategic retreat by reestablishing the principles of preemption. Basically, that means that they're going to become, as Moshe Dayan said, a mad dog of the Middle East that nobody's going to mess with. And by ceasing to absorb blows to the nation without response. Basically, they're going to become a fascist. They're going to just openly be the fascist power that they are. So if anybody is curious about Israel's policies, whether it's so warlike, it's because it's a part of their strategy in asserting their plans for regional dominance. Israel's new strategic agenda can shape the shape the regional environment in ways that grant Israel the room to refocus its energy back to where they are most needed, to rejuvenate its natural idea, which can only come through replacing Israel's socialist foundations with a more sound footing and to overcome its exhaustion, which threatens their survival of the nation. I assume that has something to do with the conflict between the Orthodox Jews and the so-called secular Jews. So the whole effect of this clean break strategy is the plan that we've seen for the last decade or two, which America has been orchestrating. And there's also another plan which I'll talk about called the Yenon plan, which is part of this, and that involves breaking the Arab states into smaller states, which is what we're seeing right now.